私の名前はユキです。
My name is Yuki. I was born in Osaka, raised in a traditional Japanese family where discipline was everything. My father enrolled me in karate when I was 6 years old. He said a strong body builds a strong mind. I believed him. By the time I was 23, I had won 3 national championships. My knuckles were scarred, my shoulders carried old injuries, and my trophy shelf was full. But inside I felt empty. Completely empty. Every morning I would wake up at 5, train until my muscles screamed, eat the same meals, repeat the same routines. My life was a perfect machine. But machines don't feel peace. They just run until they break, and I was breaking. It happened on a Tuesday. I was sparring with a junior student, a simple drill we had done 1,000 times. But my mind was somewhere else. I moved too fast. She moved too slow. I heard the crack before I felt the pain. My knee twisted in a way knees should never twist. The doctors said 6 months minimum, maybe longer, maybe never the same again. I sat in my apartment for weeks, staring at the walls. No training, no competitions, no purpose. My coach called every day. My teammates sent messages, but I couldn't answer. What was I without karate? Who was Yuki without the fighting? One afternoon, my neighbor knocked on my door. Her name was Amina. She was Indonesian, married to a Japanese man, always smiling even though I never smiled back. She brought me soup. "You look sad," she said, sitting down without asking. I didn't want to talk, but she stayed anyway. She came back the next day, and the next. She never talked about my injury. She talked about her life, her family, her faith. She was Muslim. I had never met a Muslim before. In Japan, we don't see many. "Why do you pray 5 times a day?" I asked her once. She smiled. "Because it reminds me I'm not alone, that there's something bigger than my problems, bigger than me." I didn't understand. In karate, we were taught to rely on ourselves. Strength comes from within, discipline, control. But where had that gotten me? Alone in an apartment with a broken knee and a broken spirit. Amina gave me a book, a translation of the Quran in Japanese. I didn't want to read it, but I had nothing else to do. I started reading. At first it felt strange, foreign, but then I found a verse that stopped me cold. "And we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger, and a loss of wealth, and lives, and fruits, but give good tidings to the patient." I read it again and again. My whole life I thought suffering meant I was weak, that injury meant failure. But this book was saying something different. It was saying suffering has meaning, that patience has value, that I wasn't broken, I was being tested. I kept reading. Every day, page after page. Amina invited me to her home. Her husband was kind, quiet. They prayed together before dinner. I watched them. Their movements were so calm, so focused. It reminded me of kata, the forms we practice in karate. But this was different. This wasn't about power. It was about surrender. "Can I try?" I asked. Amina's eyes went wide. Then she smiled, the biggest smile I had ever seen. She taught me how to make wudu, how to wash before prayer. She showed me how to stand, how to bow, how to place my forehead on the ground. When I put my head down on that prayer mat, something inside me cracked open. All the pride, all the anger, all the fear I had been carrying for years, it poured out. I cried. I cried like a child. For the first time in my life, I wasn't trying to be strong. I was just being honest. I studied for 3 months. I asked Amina 1,000 questions. I watched videos, read books, talked to other Muslims online. My family didn't understand. My coach thought I was losing my mind. My teammates stopped calling. But I didn't care, because for the first time, I felt peace. On a Friday afternoon, I went to the small mosque in Osaka. There were maybe 20 people there, mostly foreigners, a few Japanese converts like me. The imam asked if I was ready. I nodded. "Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah." I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. The words came out shaky. My voice cracked, but I meant every syllable. The brothers and sisters hugged me. Some of them cried. I cried too. I am still Yuki. I still train, though differently now. My knee healed, but I don't fight the same way. I'm not chasing trophies anymore. I'm not trying to prove I'm the strongest. I train because my body is a gift from Allah. I discipline myself because Islam taught me discipline has a purpose beyond winning. My father still doesn't understand. My mother cries sometimes, but I pray they will see one day that I'm not lost. I'm found. People ask me, why did you leave Japan's way for a foreign religion? I tell them, I didn't leave Japan. I found the truth, and the truth doesn't belong to one country. It belongs to everyone who seeks it. My name is Yuki. I was a fighter who thought strength meant never breaking. Islam taught me that real strength is knowing when to bow down. Today, 5 years have passed since that Friday in the Osaka mosque. 5 years since I spoke the shahada. And I want to tell you what happened next, because the journey didn't end there. It only began. The hardest part wasn't learning to pray. It wasn't fasting during Ramadan. It wasn't even wearing hijab in a country where people stare. The hardest part was my father. He didn't speak to me for 8 months. 8 months of silence. My mother would call secretly, crying, begging me to come back to normal. My younger brother told his friends I had joined a cult. I remember the first time my father saw me in hijab. We ran into each other at a train station. He looked at me like I was a stranger. Then he walked away. That night, I cried in sujood. I begged Allah to soften his heart. I begged him to help my father understand that I wasn't lost. I was found. It took 2 years. 2 long years of patience, of showing them through my actions, not just my words. Then one day my father called me. He said, "Come home for dinner." I went. My hands were shaking the entire train ride. We sat at the table, the same table where I grew up. My mother made my favorite food, like she used to when I was a child. My father looked at me for a long time. Then he said something I'll never forget. "Yuki, I don't understand your religion. I don't understand why you pray to a God I cannot see. But I see something in you now that I never saw before. You have peace, real peace. And as your father, that's all I ever wanted for you." He didn't convert. He may never convert, but he accepted me. And that was enough. Now I run a small dojo in Osaka, but it's different from the ones I trained in before. I teach young girls, Japanese girls, Muslim girls, girls from all backgrounds. I teach them karate, yes, but I also teach them something my old senseis never taught me. I teach them that strength without purpose is just violence, that discipline without faith is just routine, that winning without inner peace is just emptiness. Some of my students are Muslim, some are not, but they all learn the same lesson. Real strength comes from knowing who you are and whose you are. I still compete sometimes, not for trophies, not for fame, but to show people that a Muslim woman in hijab can be strong, can be disciplined, can be a warrior in her own right. Last year, I won a regional championship. When I stood on that podium, I didn't raise my fist in victory like I used to. I raised my hands and said, "Alhamdulillah, thank God." People ask me if I regret my old life. They ask if I miss the fame, the recognition, the glory. I tell them, I don't miss being empty. I found something in Islam that no championship could ever give me. I found purpose. I found peace. I found myself. My name is Yuki. I'm a Japanese Muslim, a karateka who learned that the greatest battle isn't in the dojo, it's in the heart. And the greatest victory isn't defeating your opponent, it's surrendering to your creator. If you're watching this and you feel empty, even though you have everything the world says you should want, I want you to know something. That emptiness has a cure. That void has a purpose. You're not broken, you're just searching. And maybe, just maybe, you're one prayer away from finding what you've been looking for your whole life. Alhamdulillah for everything. Alhamdulillah for the broken knee that broke my pride. Alhamdulillah for the pain that led me to peace. This is my story, this is my journey, and by the grace of Allah, this is only the beginning.